Why 2010s fashion went from cringe to cool again in America. Remember galaxy leggings, shutter shades, or ultra-skinny jeans that used to get roasted? Surprise, they're back and louder than ever. From TikTok feeds to haute couture runways, the 2010s aesthetic has staged a full-on comeback. But this isn't just recycling, and it's a cultural reboot. Today, we'll unpack why the very looks once labeled cringe are now icons of identity, rebellion, and nostalgia. Fashion moves in predictable cycles: mockery, rediscovery, reinvention. In the 2010s, neon sneakers, snapbacks, oversized graphic tees, and shutter shades were easy targets. People called them trying too hard. But today, those garments walk runways and star in influencer edits. The shift says less about fabric and more about context. When a generation reinterprets the past, it can transform ridicule into status. The 2010s came back not by accident, but because culture needed boldness, and boldness was packaged in those cringe pieces. Social media amplified the revival. Platforms built on short-form visuals and irony, especially TikTok and Instagram, turned archives of old selfies and Tumblr aesthetics into templates for reinvention. Gen Z discovered and remixed early 2010s streetwear into new hybrids. Nostalgic but intentional. Viral trends normalized looks that were once embarrassing, while creators added layers, styling, mashups, and sustainable sourcing, so the pieces read as deliberate, not accidental. Online virality repurposed cringe into curatorial cool. Celebrities and tastemakers accelerated the turnaround. When high-profile artists and models wear cargo pants, chunky sneakers, or retro logos, the market listens. Luxury houses reinterpret throwback silhouettes with premium materials and elevated cuts. Celebrities amplify these edits in editorial spreads and red carpets. That celebrity validation converts past mass-market ubiquity into rare, collectible cachet. The same snapbacks once sold at mall kiosks now appear in capsule drops and editorial features. Rebellion fuels revival. After years of muted minimalism, neutral palettes, slender silhouettes, people crave visual risk. The 2010s offered loudness, color, pattern, and maximalist expression. Wearing neon or oversized logos becomes a counter-move to bland uniformity. What was once dismissible as excess is now celebrated as intentional eccentricity. In a moment craving personality, too much reads as authenticity, and irony gives permission to be boldly visible again. Thrift and resale culture underpin authenticity. Platforms like Depop and real-world thrift stores transformed forgotten wardrobe relics into sought-after finds. Wearing an original 2010s piece signals curation, not conformity. Sustainable too. Reusing and reworking rejects fast fashion's disposability. That provenance adds narrative value. People aren't just wearing an item, they're carrying a micro-history. The hunt for authentic pieces makes the revival feel grassroots, not manufactured. Nostalgia does the emotional work. For many, 2010s aesthetics conjure pre-crisis memories, festival circuits, early social media communities, and formative pop culture. Reviving those styles offers comfort, a wearable time capsule. In uncertain times, fashion that recalls simpler, energetic moments becomes emotionally attractive. Clothes become mnemonic devices. They cue music, friendships, and formative experiences that people are eager to relive or reframe with current sensibilities. Designers and brands know how to sanitize and upscale the past. The 2010s are reintroduced with quality upgrades, improved fabrics, refined tailoring, and sustainable production. Skinny jeans get better cuts, neon gets luxury-grade materials. Streetwear silhouettes adopt more thoughtful construction. Reinvention translates nostalgia into contemporary desirability. The industry's playbook is to extract the emotional core of a trend and repackage it as something aspirational and new. Street subcultures always hold the blueprint. Skate, hip-hop, and online subcommunities kept 2010s elements alive, while mainstream commentary mocked them. Those grassroots styles were never truly dead. They were incubating. When the mainstream catches up, it retroactively legitimizes the subculture's aesthetics. Suddenly, the underground looks visionary instead of passé. Revival is often a delayed acknowledgement of subcultural foresight. Meme culture and irony smoothed the path. Early adopters wore 2010s pieces ironically, which removed the stigma and made experimentation socially safe. Irony became an entry point. Genuine appreciation followed. The route from parody to practice is common in internet-born trends. Ridicule lowers barriers, curiosity follows, and authenticity emerges. The final result is hybrid, an aesthetic born from both jest and sincere preference. The revival of 2010s fashion in America also reveals how identity politics influence style. Clothes are never neutral. They communicate belonging, irony, or defiance. When Gen Z and Millennials re-embrace shutter shades or galaxy prints, they are not just recycling outfits. They're reclaiming a cultural language once mocked. What was once seen as try-hard now signifies confidence, signaling that individuality outweighs judgment. Fashion's reinvention is ultimately a form of cultural storytelling. Economic factors also play a role. In uncertain times, people gravitate toward what feels familiar and inexpensive. Many 2010 staples, snapbacks, skinny jeans, statement sneakers, are accessible through thrift stores or secondhand apps. This democratization of style contrasts with the exclusivity of luxury minimalism. Wearing 2010s fashion isn't just about nostalgia. It's a practical, affordable way to stand out while staying sustainable, making it attractive to younger generations navigating economic pressure. Music has always shaped fashion, and the 2010s revival is no different. The reemergence of pop-punk, EDM aesthetics, and hip-hop nostalgia has reignited old dress codes. When artists revive sounds, fans instinctively mirror the look. Festivals, music videos, and viral TikTok edits visually anchor style with sound. The return of neon, studs, and oversized fits mirrors the revival of genres that defined the decade. Fashion is music made visible. Technology's evolution adds another twist. In the early 2010s, fashion was shaped by MySpace, Tumblr, and YouTube aesthetics. Now, with AI filters, Instagram archives, and TikTok trends, those aesthetics are reimagined and amplified. Retro digital editing styles make 2010s looks feel futuristic again. The blend of analog nostalgia with modern tech creates a hybrid aesthetic. Not just a return, but a remix. Tech is both curator and amplifier of fashion's comeback. Interestingly, this revival highlights the blurred lines between bad taste and innovation. What was once dismissed as tacky, bling belts, bright polos, galaxy prints, is now reframed as playful experimentation. Taste evolves, and what feels wrong in one context may feel refreshing in another. The cycle proves there's no absolute measure of style, only timing, mood, and cultural appetite. 2010's fashion's redemption arc is proof that yesterday's faux pas can be tomorrow's brilliance. The generational dialogue adds depth. Millennials wear 2010's fashion with irony or nostalgia. Gen Z wears it as a bold declaration. This dual interpretation makes the trend versatile. A snapback for a millennial might mean remember high school, while for Gen Z it says, look how I remix the past into something new. That cross-generational conversation keeps the revival dynamic instead of static, ensuring it resonates differently across age groups. Marketing and branding are capitalizing too. Fashion brands deliberately resurface old logos, revive discontinued sneaker lines, and release retro-inspired collections. They know cultural cycles drive consumption. The reappearance of 2010's graphics and color palettes is not accidental. It's strategic. Companies rely on emotional triggers to sell familiarity as freshness. Consumers, in turn, feel they're reclaiming something authentic while the industry quietly monetizes nostalgia. Street-style documentation has also made a difference. In the 2010s, fashion blogs and street photographers captured outfits that seemed ordinary at the time. Now those archives are rediscovered and recontextualized as aesthetic gold. What once lived only in Facebook albums or Tumblr feeds is now repurposed into mood boards, brand lookbooks, and trend forecasts. The act of documenting everyday style helped immortalize it for revival. What's perhaps most surprising is how inclusive this comeback feels. Unlike some past revivals, the 2010s return embraces diversity in body shapes, ethnicities, and gender expressions. Oversized silhouettes, bold prints, and eclectic accessories offer room for creativity without rigid rules. This inclusivity makes the revival less about fitting a mold and more about amplifying individuality. The cringe styles of the past now serve as open canvases for self-expression. Ultimately, The resurrection of 2010s fashion reflects a larger truth. Nothing truly disappears in culture. Every discarded trend waits for the right moment to be reappraised. What seems embarrassing today may feel iconic tomorrow. In America, the revival isn't just about clothes, it's about memory, rebellion, humor, and transformation. Fashion's greatest trick is reminding us that time changes everything, even the meaning of a snapback or a pair of neon kicks. The social impact of the 2010s fashion revival is visible in how it reshapes community dynamics. Clothing choices have become conversation starters, connecting strangers through nostalgia. Wearing shutter shades or neon sneakers often sparks recognition and shared stories. In this way, fashion becomes more than an outfit. It functions as a cultural handshake, uniting people across different backgrounds who lived through the same era of trends, memes, and music. Psychologically, wearing 2010s fashion offers comfort. Nostalgia reduces stress by connecting people to familiar and simpler times. When life feels uncertain, slipping into a pair of skinny jeans or a snapback hat offers a subtle sense of control. It's like carrying a piece of your personal history into the present. Psychologists note that nostalgic clothing often boosts confidence because it reminds people of who they were and who they still can be. The comeback also reflects identity building in a digital age. Gen Z grew up curating their identities online, and fashion plays a central role in that performance. By reviving 2010's looks, they're not just copying the past, they're remixing it to build hybrid identities. A galaxy print hoodie paired with modern sneakers symbolizes more than taste. It signals a layered self, someone shaped by both memory and reinvention. Fashion here is self-branding. There's also a collective healing aspect. The 2010s revival allows people to laugh at past cringe while embracing it with love. What once caused embarrassment now generates pride. This transformation mirrors therapy, confronting what embarrassed us and reframing it as strength. America's youth culture is essentially practicing self-compassion through style, turning once mocked choices into celebrated artifacts of resilience. Peer influence plays a massive psychological role. Humans are wired for mimicry. When influencers or peers embrace retro styles, it normalizes them. But unlike past decades, this influence spreads at lightning speed through TikTok and Instagram. Entire subcultures can emerge overnight around one ironic trend. This rapid adoption shows how social validation and identity reinforcement drive what we consider cool. 2010's fashion thrives because it creates belonging at scale. The revival also highlights generational memory transfer. Millennials introduce their younger siblings or children to 2010's aesthetics, creating intergenerational bonds. For Gen Z, it feels fresh. For millennials, it's a revival. This cross-pollination of perspectives enriches the cultural meaning of these clothes. Fashion in this case becomes a living bridge between generations, ensuring the past is not forgotten, but reimagined. Social media challenges add another layer of psychological impact. From dress like it's 2012 TikToks to throwback fit checks, these viral prompts encourage collective participation. They allow people to relive moments together, even if virtually. The humor and irony embedded in these trends reduce shame, making cringe stylish. Participating in these challenges builds micro-communities that thrive on shared playfulness. The American obsession with reinvention is also at play. As a society, America values second chances and transformation stories. Fashion mimics this cultural narrative. By embracing 2010's aesthetics, Americans show their belief that nothing is permanently out of style. It can be redeemed. This mirrors broader cultural values of resilience, reinvention, and individual freedom, embedding fashion trends with deeper social meaning. Psychologists argue that bold aesthetics can improve mood. Bright colors, oversized shapes, and exaggerated accessories stimulate emotional responses. In a climate often dominated by uncertainty and digital fatigue, these playful outfits act as mood lifters. Fashion thus doubles as wearable therapy. Bright snapbacks or neon sneakers aren't just ironic. They trigger joy, humor, and confidence. What once embarrassed people now actively improves their mental well-being. In the end, the return of 2010's fashion in America is about more than style. It's about psychology, community, and healing. From sparking nostalgic comfort to building intergenerational bridges, These trends embody resilience in fabric form. They remind us that culture is fluid, memory is powerful, and identity is always evolving. Fashion is not just cyclical, it's emotional architecture. And in 2025, that architecture is built with galaxy prints, shutter shades, and unapologetic neon.